Reaction is Fox News contributor Sarah Carter and Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio and Andy Biggs of Arizona. To the three of you, thank you for joining us here. I want to start with Mike Turner. You're in Ohio, but you're also on the Intel Committee. They're singing the tune of impeachment, for goodness sake. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Jason, this is part of the process of trying to delegitimize a Republican president. We saw this, of course, with George W. Bush's election, where they alleged that he colluded with his governor brother of Florida to steal the election. They took that case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And now with Trump, they claimed he colluded with Russia to steal the election and then used, as you kept saying, Hillary Clinton funded material to get surveillance over the Trump campaign. But, in the heartland, right here in Dayton, Ohio, the headline that hit everybody's doorsteps today was no collusion with Russians. And that certainly has a big impact. That's not a presidential tweet. That's the headline. It's going to make it difficult for people like Adam Schiff, who's gone around saying that there is collusion. But now we see their shift. Now they want to go from collusion to now say they want to go after the president because of his opposition for their efforts to pursue him for crimes he didn't commit. I don't think people are going to buy it. I think they understand those 4 words of no collusion with Russians to hopefully be the end of it.
Well, I'm glad the headline in Ohio got it right, because the Washington Post and the other ones did not. And Sarah Carter, I want to get your impact on this. Senator Warren, she's one of the leading contenders out there. She's saying she wants to have impeachment. How do you think that's going to go?
Well, I don't think it's going to go well for her. I mean, this is going to backfire. It's going to backfire on the Democrats. The American public's really sick and tired of this. They know now, based on this report, no collusion. There was no obstruction. Now we're hearing that in the report, that even Don McGahn, his story changed multiple times. That's President Trump's former lawyer. And so there was even a, little section in the report that specifically stated, his story was very confusing. So as far as obstruction is concerned, there's no obstruction there. And this is coming from, from Elizabeth Warren, who was basically called out for lying on her card and, calling herself an American Indian. And we know that she's not. This is going to backfire on her. It's going to backfire on the Democrats. Adam Schiff is another one that's been very much pushing this collusion, delusion narrative consistently at President Trump. And I think the American public's going to tire of that. And I'm going to tell you something else. The most important thing, I believe, Jason, is that coming up when the investigations start on the part of Attorney General William Barr, and when the investigations are revealed that Michael Horowitz has been conducting over the past year, it's really going to backfire on them.
Now, Andy Biggs, you're a congressman on the east side of the Phoenix Valley there, Mesa and whatnot in Arizona. Very important state in the 2020 politics. I mean, do the Democrats that you serve with in the House, do they really love Mike Pence that much? Do they really want him to be the president? Or are they just on this crazy train to who knows where with all this impeachment talk?
Well, I think they're on the crazy train. I think there's a significant number that are very skittish, and wisely so. They don't want an impeachment process. They know it's going to hurt them, especially those 40 districts that we call swing districts that support Trump, that maybe a Democrat picked up last midterm election. But I'll just tell you what, when Nadler's subpoenaing these documents and he's going forward, I think they're doing a market test to see if they're able to keep the middle that they're hoping to get if they go to a full impeachment. I think they really want to do a full impeachment. They think that the base is ginned up enough to do it. But I think that there's some wise heads or some politically minded heads in Pelosi and Steny Hoyer who are saying, hey, this is going to hurt us if we do it. But I think Nadler, and Nadler, and Schiff, they want to go forward and just test this to see, can we stay in there?
Yeah, well, you had more than 60 Democrats already sign up for impeachment before they even got through the report.
Exactly.
Congressman Turner, you serve on a very important role on the Intel Committee. You see day in and day out behind closed doors Adam Schiff. I mean, how does he have any credibility? I don't understand why he even has a security clearance and why he's even on the committee at this point.
Well, it is very troubling. Certainly all of the Republicans on the committee called for his removal as chair of the committee, not just because of the misstatements that he's made, where he's come out and said that he saw evidence of collusion where clearly there was no evidence of collusion. And now the Mueller report, without question, settles that issue. But the issue is that he is using the committee solely for the purposes of pursuing President Trump with his vendetta against him. Our adversaries are Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, and we need to be looking at at the ways in which they're impacting our national security. And as long as Adam Schiff continues to believe that the greatest threat to this country is Donald Trump, our adversaries are getting a pass, and our committee needs to get back to work on
you're
national
right.
security.
There is a huge opportunity cost by not focusing on the other true threats to this nation. I've got just 30 seconds left. Sarah Carter, where does this go next?
Well, we know where it's going. It's going into very deep investigations into the genesis of the origination of this investigation into President Trump. I believe there will be indictments. I believe people will be held accountable for this. And that is why I think, Jason, that any type of impeachment proceedings or hearings of that nature are just going to backfire on the Democrats.
Congressman Biggs, last word. Do we actually see people in handcuffs held accountable for the genesis and the abusing the FISA court system?
We better, because the American people demand that, and if we don't, it's just another crime in history.
Thank you, all three of you, for joining us on this beautiful Friday.